With Matthew Stafford winning the Super Bowl with the Rams this year, there's a lot of opinions out there in Viking Nation thinking that we could do the same thing with Kirk Cousins, because Kirk Cousins is equal to Matthew Stafford. Newsflash, nope. Welcome to Norse News, where we're talking Minnesota Vikings news and throwing out more dumb opinions on the daily. Today, is Kirk Cousins equal to Matthew Stafford? What do you think? At the end of the day, no quarterbacks are going to be the same. All of them are going to have different abilities, different mindsets, different strengths and weaknesses that make up who they are. When it comes to simple passing stats throughout the years, Kirk Cousins and Matthew Stafford have looked similar, again, on paper. But you can't just look at touchdowns versus interceptions or completion percentage versus wins. And it goes much deeper than that when you're talking about quarterbacks. Number one, how should a quarterback be reviewed? A lot of people say they should be reviewed by wins. Well, maybe, but it is a team sport, and it does take a team in order to win the game. However, the quarterback has the biggest impact on the game. So you could sit there and take all the passing stats that you want from quarterbacks as far as completion percentage and touchdowns and interceptions and all that, and you could throw that in the chart and say, oh, well, this quarterback's better than this quarterback, but that doesn't tell the whole story. A stat that I feel is a perfect example of how quarterbacks have a specific type of killer mindset is comeback wins. Kirk Cousins versus Matthew Stafford, it's a no-brainer. You know, you can sit there and manipulate the stats all you want, but what I'm going to do is manipulate the stats to make it to where Kirk Cousins from 2012 till now and Matthew Stafford from 2014 till now. I could start with 2015 for both quarterbacks since they were both starters starting at that period of time. But I just want to make sure that you're aware that Matthew Stafford had 5 more comebacks in 2014 alone, while Kirk Cousins played in 9 total games between 2012 and 2014. So take it how you will. Either way, long story short, Kirk Cousins has 20 career comeback wins in that period of time from 2015 to 2021, and Matthew Stafford has 31 comebacks from 2014 to 2021. That's all not including playoffs from any quarterback. So what does that mean? Well, it shows that Matthew Stafford, more times than Kirk Cousins at the very least, has come back to win games. And Matthew Stafford, for the majority of that career, has been on a Lions team that is far worse than anything the Vikings have put out over that stretch of time, or the Redskins put out over that stretch of time. You can say Matthew Stafford had more talent this year. That's how he won the Super Bowl. We can do that if we just get more talent around Kirk. He needs a better defense. Well, in 2018 and 2019, he had a top 10 defense minimum. Your quarterback has to pass the eye test. If your quarterback is checking down all the time, not making those throws to continue drives, getting your team in scoring position and scoring, then he's just not that good of a quarterback. I mean, you can't sit here and say, oh, because Christian Ponder threw for 77% this game, he's as good as Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers only threw for 72%. That's just outright ludicrous. So you have to take into account a quarterback's clutch factor. And how can you determine a clutch factor? Well, another way we can measure a clutch factor is the percentage of first downs passing on third downs. Matthew Stafford led the league in percentage of first downs passed on third downs this year. 52.5% of his third downs that were passes went for first downs. 1 out of every 2. That's insane. Patrick Mahomes was second with 51%. And Kirk Cousins was 17th. 40.2% of Kirk Cousins' third down passes went for first downs. Kirk Cousins, you can't have all these weapons and then just check it down on third down and hope that your defense, that struggled this year. Yes, the defense was bad, but you were not continuing drives because you were checking down or getting the ball out to a playmaker and hoping they make the play instead of throwing the ball into a tight window, possibly making a mistake, but also possibly making the play. There's evidence of Kirk being criticized by his previous coaches in Washington, Jay Gruden, for instance. There's documented evidence saying that Kirk said that if he threw the ball that Jay wanted, he'd throw 20 interceptions, and then Jay came back and said, yeah, but he'd also throw 60 touchdowns. Kirk Cousins inevitably looks to make the safe play. He doesn't want to cost the team the game. He wants to make sure he does his job. Whereas you want a quarterback, game's on the line. Watch the last drive of the Super Bowl with the Rams. He threw the ball to Cooper Kupp every time. I was watching that game, and he was trying to make these throws to Jefferson. Jefferson dropped so many passes during the game that would have been for first downs. That would have went to extend the drive. They would have been able to be in scoring position. He gave his team the chance. Yes, Matthew Stafford could have checked it down to his running back or tight end underneath the third down and hoped that they would have ran it for the first down. Nope. But he threw the pass past the first down line to the receivers that should have made the play. Odell Beckham would have made the play, but Jefferson couldn't make those plays, and anybody else was not getting open. So they decided to take it upon themselves and throw it to Cooper Kupp every single time on that last drive. That is when the quarterback's like, I don't care. I'm going to get our team down. You see this in Aaron Rodgers. You see this in Joe Burrow. You see this in Patrick Mahomes. Except for this last playoff game, Patrick looked like he was playing scared in the second half. Something was off. But the great quarterbacks put the team on their shoulders instead of being another worker, another person that just works here. And you kind of get that feeling just watching Kirk talk about his finances, talk about the team. I think he's even made the comment, I'm just trying to do my job. How many of us have just tried to do our job at jobs that we hated, jobs we didn't like, in the normal workforce? It sounds like Kirk Cousins is just a quarterback, a good quarterback, that just wants to get paid to do his job. Whether he wins or loses, he's getting paid. And by far is he getting paid way too much. I've been looking at the cap numbers for both Kirk Cousins throughout his career and Matthew Stafford throughout the career. And largest cap number that Matthew Stafford's ever had was in 2019 when his cap number was $30.7 million. And Kirk Cousins' biggest cap hit was last year at $31 million. So you're telling me that Kirk Cousins, Mr. Check Down, Mr. Just doing my job to get the ball into the playmaker's hands, deserves $31 million? Well, he got it, and it was fully guaranteed. Not once was Stafford's entire check fully guaranteed. Not only that, but Kirk deliberately said, no, I don't want to rework my contract last year. I want to get paid my $31 million. I'm going to get paid my $45 million this year. Outrageous. And then you wonder why some rumors come out about teammates not really caring for Kirk Cousins, like Kyle Rudolph didn't mention him in his goodbye message to the Vikings. Kirk is a good quarterback. He's not $45 million good. He's not $35 million good, and he's not $30 million good. Looking at overthecap.com, last year Kirk Cousins made $31 million. Russell Wilson was the only quarterback above him making $32 million. Aaron Rodgers right below that. Do you think Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins are on equal ground? No. Should they be paid like they're on equal ground? No, but contracts, the can getting kicked down the road, things like that happen. Either way, just in this one scenario, Kirk Cousins just so happened to actually have a bigger cap hit than Aaron Rodgers this last year. But you have him bigger than Matt Ryan. You have him bigger than Jimmy Garoppolo, Ben Roethlisberger, as he should be. But then you got Matthew Stafford, the guy that just won the freaking Super Bowl. His cap hit, $20 million. How the heck do you think they were even able to go out and get Odell Beckham? I mean, it was sit there and stated that Odell was going to pick the Packers if they would have offered more money, but they didn't have more money. So he chose the Rams because the Rams offered him more money. I mean, what else can you do? I mean, the reason why Tom Brady is able to get a good team around him every year is because he takes less, because he knows that he needs to be able to pay these other players. Yes, you should be able to make as much money as possible. I'm all for you making as much money as possible. But in the end, when it's a detriment to your team, no. And he's a good quarterback. But it seems like he just doesn't want to win. And that reflects on his career winning percentage. Kirk Cousins is a sub-500 winning quarterback. Matthew Stafford has a sub-500 winning percentage. But he's been on a terrible, terrible Lions team that has had no talent to surround him with. He literally was making the plays. He's the reason why they won those games. Kirk is not the reason. Kirk is just the, I'm going to do my job guy. So there's just so many differences between Kirk Cousins and Matthew Stafford when it comes to mindset. And mindset for a quarterback is everything. The greats have the killer mindset. Kirk Cousins is not a great. He's a good. He's not 45 million good. When scouting quarterbacks, we're always talking about, does he always check down? Is he always looking for the check down? Is he able to read defenses? Does he make the throws? And while Kirk Cousins can make the throws, mentally he decides to not make the throws. It's because he's like, I would rather not put us in a bad position instead of taking the chance to put us in a good position. And it's just the safe play. So, do you want to play it safe and go with Kirk Cousins for $45 million? No. You can't play it safe and win championships. You can't win championships in life by playing it safe. You got to take risks. And Kirk Cousins is the take no risk guy. You have Matthew Stafford as a killer and Kirk Cousins as a willer. Will he get it done? Stafford's killing it. So is Kirk Cousins equal to Matthew Stafford? No. Kirk Cousins is the check down, play it safe quarterback, where Matthew Stafford is the risk it all, no risk it, no biscuit. I love that saying. No risk it, no biscuit quarterback. And just like in life, you got to take risks, because if you play it safe, you're never going to get anywhere. If you like these opinions and you want to see more, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Shoot me your opinions in the comment section below. And until next time, Skol, my brothers and sisters.